What's up, everyone? 95 Plus Podcast, Lynn Butler here. I want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, GH Grinding and Brewing Solutions. Everything you need to know about grinding and brewing coffee, please reach out to them. They're all about trust, reliability, and innovation. GHGBS.com. Thanks, guys. So Josh, how has it been, one, working for an equipment company and being, detached from the bar? Do you miss it? Is there elements that you wish you could get more involved in?
Yeah. I mean, there was something pretty cool, especially at the time, and I think now too, for the schedule that I need to have, about you're working weekdays, you're off weekends.
Right.
That's kind of nice.
It's nice,
you know, especially if you've been doing the barista job for many years and doing weekends or not knowing when you'll be on the schedule. But then, like I said, like I have kids now, so it helps me have a stable schedule to do that. But when I first started working at Malkunig, I would do a guest shift here or there.
Right on.
Tim Cafe Beleza had the
Shout
lever
out to
machine
Tim.
in the trailer.
Yeah.
And I did a couple shifts with Tim. And so that was fun. So I got my fix there,
Because there was that connection. He was using Kimbrough.
He was using Kimbrough. Yep. And, and then there's been a couple other times that I'm able to get a little bit of a barista fix, which is like sometimes if you're at a trade show or something, maybe you get a chance to like rip some shots at someone's booth or something like that. And so there's that type of thing, So, I mean, I certainly miss it. Like going all the way back, rewind, back to Tate Street coffee days. Did I get you with that one?
Yes. It was the fact that you sound effected it like I'm actually just...
If there's a better sound effect, you can put
that was great. That was great.
No, that's
staying.
We're
not cutting nothing.
Yeah, I'm going to rip that one. Yeah.
But I mean, that is where I sort of fell in love with that service aspect.
Yeah.
Because I will give huge props to my boss at that place. I mean, I feel like I was put through the ringer as a relatively shy, relatively new to the customer service world person at that time. It took a lot for me, a lot of like literal
nudging,
at the time to sort of get me up to speed on the customer service that boss wanted me to have. But I saw, how it sort of like would bear fruit. I mean, my boss there, he was there every single morning. He knew every single person's name. If it was a new student, a new professor, he probably knew their name within a couple weeks. There was something different about that. Not everyone can really do that, but I just saw the connections that he made and how strong they were. And also, I don't know, it just was, and I just saw how much of a watering hole and how happy everyone who was in that space was. And so that feeling is something I really love, and something I know is special about this industry if you do it right. And so I love spaces like that. So I like to, visit spaces like that. And can I contribute to spaces like that? I mean, I think so, even though I'm not behind the counter, but
you had that experience.
Yeah.
And I think you can contribute.
And and having that visual aid, it probably like helps with what you do now because yes, obviously you came in doing the warehouse manager side of it, but obviously there's a sales aspect and then you're always at the trade shows, you're always sponsoring the competition. So you're constantly having touch time with people within the industry or people that are at least industry adjacent.
Right.
So being able to make really genuine, like memorable connections. We talked about this on the episode with Tamika. It's very important in these spaces where you have to be public facing and talk to people that are ultimately like latching on their livelihoods to their business, you know? So like being able to make those connections in this space where now you are providing them a product and a service that is going to determine how the rest of their lives kind of move forward.
Right.
That genuine connection is important. So
Yeah.
having a good example of someone that shows you how to make that connection, no matter how minuscule, is always huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, and like taking it one step further, you know, I feel like Tate Street Coffee House is where I sort of developed that love and understanding for that third place and how that third place can be done very well.
Mm-hmm.
Then we move on in the industry, of course, to like trying to actually connect those people on the other side of the counter to the actual flavors that you are experiencing and how those flavors are being cultivated as well. You know, so, you know, I definitely was experienced and taught that piece at Kimbrough Coffee Roasters.
Yeah.
You know, and I know how important that is. And that's, so yeah, I think, I don't know. That's just another piece of the puzzle. That's another extension, another thing that I like to see happen. And from the equipment side, we can help that happen to a certain extent. I mean, it's tools that we are providing, but we can teach you a little bit how to use the tools, make sure those tools don't break down, you know, partner with companies that are making innovative tools that will help the barista do that type of thing, you know?
So the three of us have something in common other than coffee. Performance poetry, DJ, guitarist, vocalist. How come we never get you on the competition stage?
Oh man. You know, I participated in two, what did they call them? Regionals at the time.
Okay. Wait a minute. Hold on.
So, and I did Brewers Cup. So,
you know,
so.
All right. So you have been on the stage.
I have been on the stage. You know, at the time, the format was compulsory. If you don't make it past compulsory, you don't do your performance.
Right. Gotcha.
Okay. Your man didn't make it past compulsory. I'm a little ashamed to say, sad to say. You know, that's tough though, right? Compulsory. I mean, you sort of don't exactly know what to expect. You're sorting the coffee.
I was in Atlanta competing for barista. It was the first year that they were doing Brewers Cup. There was no compulsory.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, we only have 4 people competing. Will you please sign up for this?
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. And I came in dead last.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
Yeah.
Your boy probably wouldn't have made it past compulsory.
Yeah. I mean, of course I have. So that was years ago. I mean, that was 1 year before you won. And then also the year that you won, or the 2 years that I did Brewers. I have great memories of watching you in, what was it? What was that venue? The conference? The second
Atlanta Congress conference.
This was in Durham, the second Durham year.
Oh, yeah. 2014?
Yeah.
The very last Southeast.
Yeah,
that
the last
Southeast. That was in the Marriott.
Yeah.
That was in the Marriott in Durham.
I have good memories of your performance there. I was sitting front row for that.
I had food poisoning in my finals. Yeah. Yeah, I ate at a well-known pizza place. I will not name them, in Durham, which is very close to the Marriott.
Hey, see, this is where the New Yorker comes in and tells you your first mistake was eating at a pizza spot that's not in New York.
Yeah. I got food poisoning.
Oh, man.
And I barely made it through that presentation. Man. I could barely stand during the announcements. Yeah, it was rough.
Man.
Yeah. And I won that piece.
You want to sit Keith Lee on him?
Huh?
You want to sit Keith Lee on him?
You won. You won. That was huge. No, I have great memories of that. And but you know, it almost sounds like I'm happy to have the what do you call it, the participation award, but
right on.
I mean, I did learn a lot.
Yeah.
Just from, I mean, even though I didn't place, and maybe that's a lesson for folks out there to maybe, you know, get their feet wet and don't be scared about it. I mean, you still learn a lot, and you're still putting yourself in the pressure cooker. You're surrounding yourself just by throwing your hat in the ring. You're surrounding yourself by people who really smart people and really helpful people, really kind people.
Yeah, for real. I mean, it took me 8 seasons to win, and I realized I was right where I needed to be, you know, because I learned so much from all those times that I did horribly at nationals, you know. I was right where I needed to be. I was around the people I needed to be. I was encouraged by the people that I needed encouragement from. I learned from people who I needed to learn from, you know.
Was there a big difference or a big thing that you changed to
Yeah,
win
so
that year?
it was all about getting back to that first competition. It was I didn't need to surround myself with a bunch of people that were telling me yes all the time. I didn't need to surround myself with a bunch of people, period. I just needed someone who was close to me, and that was it. And what I knew about coffee, I'd done it for so long. I understood the score sheets. I understood how judges scored. I understood the purpose of having judges to give you that feedback, that critical feedback to help you grow as a barista. And in 2016, I was kind of put on my ass by, we're not going to sponsor you this year. So I would have to find my own way. And that was when, I went back to, the beginning when it was just me and Sarah. And I was like, all right, well, let's the whole family, let's get in the car and we're going to drive to Atlanta and compete in this national thing.
Cool.
And see what happens. I want to get in the finals. That's it. And I'm done. I'm finally done. I've retired before, but this was it. This was like, I'm going back to the roots. This is how Sarah and I did it back in the day, hanging out at the Vagabond Inn in Long Beach, LBC, shout out to Chris Baca and Jared with the puppet show. And, that's what, I wanted to get back to. And cool. It was the whole kind of removing that ego from the coffee, from the presentation, from, and just letting the coffee do its thing, and it turned out okay.
Legend. No, it's great. Yeah. That's cool to hear.
I think you hit something important for me because I'm in here thinking about the fact that I don't think any year I've ever competed, it's ever been about the coffee.
Yeah.
Like ever. It was.
But I mean, it's different for everybody.
Right. No.
This was just for me because
I don't think it's a one size fit all at all, but it's just me thinking about the fact that like that could have been my missing piece.
Yeah.
And we got something pretty big happening next week. So who knows how that may change how I view the world and view just the industry. But like, it's always been about who's this affecting. I'm not sure. So similar to Lim not being able to pinpoint exactly when y'all met, I don't remember exactly when we met. I just know that when I got down here, our first conversation felt like we knew each other for years already, which we probably did. Yeah. I also retain like 7% of the people that I meet at these events because I've been competing at all of them. But my first year that I competed, I started my routine off in Kansas City at Nationals with that Maya Angelou quote: "People will forget what you've done, people forget what you've said, but people never forget how you've made them feel." And every year I tap into that spirit of like, how do I want people to feel at the end of this? And that has definitely informed how I've moved through this industry, how I've moved through the world. But like, we can think of how many cafes we go to that have great vibes and like we don't go back because the coffee's not good,
Right.
And not to say that I didn't put good coffee out there, but like, how do I combine those two, create that space that is like the cafes that we want, those memorable moments of excellent service, excellent experience, something that's going to be transformative, but also this product, this experience that I'm having is one that I'm going to remember above the rest. So
yeah,
I'm now having those wheels turned in my head right now.
Right on. Yeah.
I know it makes me wonder if like there's always so much good coffee around whenever I visit Black and White. So it's almost like you don't have to explain that to the people who are there.
Right.
But perhaps like it could be a part of a presentation or something.
I think it's probably one of those things we end up taking for granted sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I've been very fortunate in my career, like my bad cafe, like bad coffee was a counterculture account, and counterculture is pretty damn good, I don't have too many like this is absolutely terrible experiences of like I had to just make it work in this place and it was just the place that paid the bills.
Yeah.
Experiences in coffee that like the coffee being at least like net good is something that I probably have gotten to take for granted for a while, that I might need to like reassess and reevaluate, because not everybody has that. You know, a lot of us have the, hey, this was the terrible cafe that I worked at, or this is the place I had terrible coffee at, as a marketable experience that kind of helps them see the difference in what was great and what wasn't. Me, I feel like that's kind of just been a thing that's been around. So maybe I need to investigate how fortunate I've been to have that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. I mean, just hearing this different stories of the different cafes where you worked, I mean, I was like, shit.
Yeah.
I had a golden career because I only worked in one cafe for 4 years, and it was the best.
Yeah. The coffee was good at pretty much everywhere that I've worked at for the most part. But like the hijinks, the experiences, those
the hijinks,
things. But those are but those are things that I've connected with most of the people that
and
I've
we
met
do
in the
that.
industry.
Yeah.
Like we all got those crazy stories, or like for you, you've had less of them, but like that's the thing that helped me really connect to the industry, because I connected to the people, to the experiences, and the coffee was just kind of like a prerequisite. Like that was here while all this other stuff was going on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sort of curious, Lem and Anthony, but you know, the state of the competition world as we have it today. I mean, I don't know if y'all feel the same way that I do, but it's very exciting to have things back after the pandemic years.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, just because even if you have your critiques of the competition world, it's not still cool for it to be happening.
Yeah, it's not perfect, but it's that connection point, you know?
Yeah.
You have all these different national competitions where, you know, these different coffee cultures in these different countries are connecting nationally. And then we connect on an international level in this world coffee competition. Brewers, barista, cup tasters, latte art, coffee and good spirits, roasters. I mean, when I first started, it was just barista, you know? Now you have all these points where we can connect more. No, it's not perfect. And, you know, that's the beauty of it, because if we keep pushing to make it perfect, it's going to get better. And then we have even more involvement
I agree.
in these connection points.
I think you're shining a light on a thing for me, because I think I've always been, I think, you know, being a black male, being someone that's from the 90s now, millennial era of like, I've had enough things like not be perfect that I'm kind of just okay with like knowing that reality exists. And like, I don't challenge things in the same way, because I look at things not being perfect and just accept it as a reality of life and go, cool, I need to be better. And I don't necessarily like put that on.
That's what you need to do, because if we all do the same thing, I need to be better. And if I improve and you do your thing and improve, then the industry improves. You know?
So like, that's the thing for me, but like it leads me to not always being the most aware about what isn't perfect, what isn't right, because I'm always turning the lens back here, that sometimes to be able to challenge the status quo is important. Like you guys going like, hey, like we may have our criticisms about this space, and I'm like, I don't really focus on them, because it's like, I'm like, I can look at it and go, if I'm the type, I've always been the type of competitor that's like, that feels like if I'm not good enough that you can't cheat me out of it, I wasn't good enough. So like, I don't hold losing personal. I don't feel any type of way when I don't. I'm like, okay, cool. I just got to be better. You know what I mean? Like whatever. And you know what? Funny enough, thinking of like, actually I had this experience a couple of days ago. Sorry, I'm pivoting and talking in tangents, but I had this experience with a player that I coach on the esports side, where we'd lost a game. Like players that I coach had lost a game, and he was just like, well, I just got to be better. I can't make mistakes. And I'm like, no, like I appreciate you being accountable, but your teammates know better than this. I'm not allowing them to compound mistakes and keep screwing things up, because you're going to take the fall for it, because that's just who you are. And like, I realized that I kind of do the thing that player does, where I'm just like, oh, I just got to be better. Like when people were coming to me talking about how I didn't make finals this past year, and I'm like, I'm fine, guys. I don't care. And I honestly didn't. I was just like, great, I get to go to sleep today. Cool. Maybe I need to do this, and better next time, if there's going to be a next time. But there probably are things that we do need to critique and take into account that need to be better within this space, that would avoid certain things happening that alienate other people that look like me or have some type of marginalized background that can't be successful in this space because of powers beyond their control. So I do a lot of inward reflecting that prevents me from challenging the status quo in that same way. I kind of just treat them like background just realities, similar to the coffee of like, coffee's been good, cool. All these other hijinks is what it is. I'm just going to be here.
It's just background noise.
Right. Yeah. I kind of treat it as a background thing. And maybe I need to put that to the forefront a little bit more to make this place better.
Yeah. But putting it to the forefront, you can't let that affect your psyche. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because some people will take the criticism, say competition. Some people will take the criticism from judges and they'll take it to heart. And it kind of damages their ego, and then they don't want to listen to that criticism. And one, either just abandon the entire competition and not do it again, or two, just say, screw the judges, I'm just going to do it my way and not listen to any criticisms and then go the next season and do the same mistakes.
You are right.
You have to, I mean, the judges are not perfect. They're humans just like us. They have the hardest task of removing subjectivity from judging. And that is incredibly difficult.
It's impossible.
Incredibly difficult. So it's how can I as a judge, and I've never judged before, but how can I as a judge be as objective as possible so I can help, not judge, but help this competitor get better.
While
not just
also
at this competition, but as a coffee professional.
Right. And I was the competitor that was like, these are the things that I've learned about, like these are the imperfections I've learned about this space. How do I workshop around that? The Killmonger routine.
Yeah.
Remember, so when I sent it to Oli, I was like, how is this going to land in this room? Do I need to change how I say this line? Do I need to change my approach on how I present this thing? Are people going to tune out and check out if I say it this way? And I started trying to refine around the imperfections in hopes that like it opened the door for more people to be just like brave enough to say their truths and speak in the way that they needed to. And like, we got to see a little bit that year, but like, it hasn't like continued over. Of course, pandemic happened, so on and so forth. But maybe there's a balance in being able to challenge the status quo, but also be aware enough to refine your approach. Like that's what I need to do.
Well, that was the beauty of your presentation that year, because you stuck to all the rules of the competition. You stuck to playing the score sheet, which is what every competitor needs to do. It comes down to the score sheet.
Yeah.
You know, you have a platform to talk about what you want to talk about, but you still have to play to the score sheets. And you did that beautifully. You had a balance of playing to the score sheet and using your platform to deliver a message and that's why I didn't want to question any of your presentation. I was like, yo, you do you. No one has ever done this before. So I don't know how they're going to receive it. So I want you to do you, because what the judges are looking for, what the SCA is looking for, is a complete 100% expression of who you are. Right. Not you going to YouTube and seeing Lynn Butler's 2016 presentation and I'm going to do that. No, that's not you.
But the thing that we're talking about here is like, I have the background experience to be able to try to nuance that. And I didn't do it to the point of being able to win, because clearly I did not win.
Well, we could talk about you forgetting to call.
But that still wasn't going to give me the first. That might have got me the third, but that wouldn't have got me the first.
I don't know.
But hear me out. My point in that is, you brought up the people that get the criticism and shun it off because of the imperfections of the space and go, I'm either going to never do this again, or I'm going to completely go, screw the rules, I'm going to do it my way and never get a different set of results, because they're not actually paying attention to the system that's in front of them. It's because I did it in that manner and didn't really communicate to the untrained eye that I was still playing to the score sheet. There are people that do the screw it, I'm going to go out here and buck the system, and they actually aren't seeing the fact that I also did still play to the score sheet.
Yeah.
So they're kind of doing the thing, and if they don't get the same result, they're just like, it's because this space is
because they're
flawed.
not behind that judge's table and seeing those drinks that
and the space is flawed, but
it is flawed
because I accepted that reality. I didn't complain about it. I just kind of did things the way that I knew would work on the score sheet and tried to nuance it. I got as far as I did.
Yeah.
It's about being able to communicate, yes, this space is flawed, but it is a conquerable system that I want people to be able to learn and find out so that they can have the same, if not better success than I did, doing their version of what they need to talk about.
And the only way we can change that flawed system is to continue to participate in that system.
Right.
Because
and like bring others up.
Because years ago it was the cappuccino round.
Yeah.
A 5 to 6 ounce drink, 1 ounce of espresso, and it has to be balanced. That's an impossibility. But we played to the score sheets, and I cheated a little bit to make that a balanced drink. And then in 2015, they changed that rule. It could be
I forgot about that.
Any size you want. And that made sense. Now we had people complaining that, well, I don't drink milk. A lot of people don't drink milk. Let's have alternative milks in the industry. And they pushed that for years. And people were like, oh, screw the system. I don't want to participate in this because it, you know, using cow milk. Now, because we're participating and continuing to push that issue, we have alternative milks in the competition.
Right.
So you have to not shun the system because it's not perfect.
Yeah.
You have to be a part of that system and change it from the inside by playing by the
some
rules.
people do. Some people do. Everybody's roles is different. Like not everybody needs to be the person changing it from the inside. Some people need to complain from the outside. Some people need to affect the system from other areas because we all have different skill sets and we all have different things that we're passionate about.
The point is don't give up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I do think this would be I do want to kind of pivot this back to you and also to GH as well, because you guys have been here through a lot of different iterations of this, so at least since you've been there. Like there's been so many different versions of what this competition in this space looks like. What ultimately is the goal for you guys of being in this space? Like, is it, because I know if it was just about, you know, selling grinders, like you wouldn't have to put anywhere near the amount of effort that you guys put into this space.
Yeah. I mean, I think part of it is that, so my boss, Gary, he started with Malkunig, the brand, I think right around the time that the competitions started, you know, just growing into a little bud, you know? And then he was, you know, with sponsoring competitions like all the way up as things kind of kept going. So there was this kind of like parallel growth that took place that was, I'm sure there was some give and take, right? I'm sure there was some, I mean, I know for a fact that, you know, Gary and many others who were there for some of the first competitions, I mean, they were literally setting stuff up and volunteering beyond like the sponsorship level.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to me, that means they were sort of like trying to make this thing happen. Now, what is the purpose of this whole thing? I think it's like morphed over the years a little bit from what I understand, but it is definitely trying to standardize what baristas do and create a level of excellence in the coffee world, you know, for all baristas, hopefully. You know, create that standard and also like, you know, raise the level of excellence if possible. And, you know, hopefully get your average consumer to think they can pay more for a cup of coffee or a bag of coffee.
Yeah.
To me, I think those are some of the core values of the competition. And I think that Gary sees a big picture and he, you know, was in that situation. He said, I want to help make this happen too.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So I think
that's the beauty of Gary, man. Because, you know, when I first met him in 2007, you know, he was all about helping me fix my grinder that showed up from UPS all screwed up, and he spent all night fixing that grinder. And I think that speaks a lot to why he's involved in competitions over the years, because it's not about a return on investment. It's first about the people, being involved in that community and making that community grow. That return on investment is going to come later from shining by partnering with and being a part of the people.
But that also goes to speak to what I feel is important, which is everybody impacting in a positive way in the way that best suits them. Anything becoming better and improving in the world is not one size fits all. I am not going to ask a chef to make sure that my open heart surgery goes well. It is okay for us to impact the world in the way that we best are equipped to do so.
Right.
So for like you, Justin, you explaining the idea of why GH is such a heavy participant in competition. You are having the conversation about the coffee supply chain, why we need to pay more, how this impacts everyone across this, how we want the like everyday coffee consumer to view our industry. You touched on a larger topic and just said, hey, this is why we do this small thing within it. That's one of the many things that needs to happen in order for that larger goal to happen. But it is your and GH's way of being able to kind of help facilitate that. So I'm a very big proponent of people being able to do it in the manner that suits them. I'm not looking for everyone to
It's the ripple effect.
Yeah, I'm not
It's the
looking for
ripple
everyone
effect.
to attack it the same exact way. I'm looking for everybody to have their own personal imprint, their fingerprint on how we make things better, because all of us are going to be full of great innovative ideas that can solve things and make things better. And all of us are going to be full with some perspectives on it that's actually not going to help. But we refine it by being around collaboration.
Hopefully we can be honest with each other. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
But it's also why spaces like Expo, spaces like competition are so great, because you're bringing all of these different perspectives, these different people into the same central hub to go, cool, let's piece and parcel through this and then bring it back to our respective spaces where we got context to where we are. And now this new information that we have picked up from these other people.
Yeah.
It's really cool when that can happen. Yeah, that is another side effect. Yeah, that you just spoke to. But back in the barista days, or back in the days where I was looking for where I wanted to barista, that's one thing that drew me to Kimbrough is that, you know, Michael had won this award. There was a big banner up at Kimbrough. There was a standard of excellence there. He made great drinks. I sought him out as a barista. He made me a great drink. And it certainly inspired Miles, who was another barista at that cafe. And so then, that is a ripple effect. And that is someone trying to achieve excellence. And it's not just empty. I mean, it does come back, for all those bosses out there who are wondering, should I support, one of my employees to compete? Like, you can't really see the math right there in front of you from the get-go that the return on investment. But yes, I mean, that faith that you put in that person is going to go a long way. or I don't know. I mean, something I was mentioning a little bit earlier with competition, it's like, I think it's very necessary to bring in that fresh blood too.
Yeah.
I mean,
definitely.
Yeah, it keeps everyone honest. It brings in fresh ideas. You don't want to see the same, unless it's really those folks who are just killing it every year. You don't want to see the same 6 every single year in the final. I mean, or do you? I don't know. I want to see this guy in the final.
I'm cool. Hey, I got my one. Like at the end of the day, I'm cool. I'm chilling. I did it.
But you know what I mean.
I do.
I want you to be there because you're beating all the
But I mean, there's some people been there like 5-6 times,
But everybody gets there when it's their time. They get there, they may they can get on that stage multiple times, but like you see the difference in like getting there and winning it. Yes, you and Kyle got the experience of winning it your first time up there, but like look at like the evolution, the metamorphosis that was Isaiah, like some of the watching those journeys are extremely beautiful,
That's true.
And
that's a story. Yeah, that's a really cool story.
I'm very excited to see more of that and see this space be able to cultivate more people to do that. And I can't wait until, and this is not any type of like negative shot of it, but I can't wait until that person doesn't look like Isaiah, Like wait when that beautiful story of like how someone like blossoms into being the ambassador for the industry, and it's like one of the people that we met through Glittercat that took years to get there, or like someone that like didn't lose the inspiration, still is kind of rooted to their values and who they were when they first got there. Like seeing those happen, priceless, man.
Do we have any insight into, because I mean, Glittercat has closed shop, right?
Yes, they have.
Yeah.
So do we know if there's going to be a next chapter of, I mean, Glittercat as a name is not going to be
I don't know. Hopefully, they've made such an impact on the industry that, marginalized baristas, coffee professionals feel comfortable
Yeah.
now they feel comfortable after 4 or 5 years
Yeah.
that they can
5
step
years.
into the space that we call competition.
Shout out Veronica.
Yes.
And feel that they can succeed in what we call Brewers Cup, roasters, cup tasters, latte art.
I mean, I thought last year was amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing. And I think that's going to set the
or
precedent
qualifiers.
for, what's to come.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw Addison compete in prelims this year and win.
Again.
Again.
The black and white prelims is the Addison Invitational.
Yeah.
Addison got it. 2
Shout
in a
out to
row.
Addison at Perk.
The GOAT.
So, yeah, just seeing Addison come back again gives me hope that a lot of Glitter Cats will come back again. Shout out to Philip. Philip's going to be on the trip to Rwanda with us with the Coffee Black to Africa, Barista Exchange.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, Glitter Cat has made such an impact that it just has opened the door, not just a door, a freaking gate that will remain open for folks.
And then,
to
and then who knows what that next one's going to be? It may not necessarily be Glitter Cat, but it might be someone else in the industry that's like, hey, maybe doing it the way Glitter Cat did it isn't the way that works for me, but here's my way of being able to pass.
Here's my
back to
version.
that.
Yeah.
Right. And we've gotten to see that with CCRE. We've gotten to see that with Coffee Black's program. Now, like, there are so many other ways that we can be impactful in this. We've seen it now with the program that Candace did with bringing in Black people to get their Q grader certifications. Like, there's so many different ways to do this, and I'm excited to see more ways that people are going to like have their own expression of how to make this better. Yeah. And as long as we continue to facilitate that, it's going to get there. It may not necessarily happen in the fastest way possible, but it's going to happen, and we're going to look back on it similar to how you guys have been looking back on, like, wow, this is what North Carolina coffee was in 03, 04.
Yeah. And it's changed a lot.
Like, imagine how we're like, even me, like, who I'm 9 years into my coffee journey, like, looking back at how different things were in, 2017, 2018 to how they are now, like, whether I'm still in coffee or not, like, just thinking of like how different things would be, 2026, 2027, and being like, wow, I remember when, like, Lim was the only one and I was the second one. Or like, now I'm like, yo, look at this person.
And we have more competitions now. We got Barista League.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to them. We'll be in Atlanta, in December. You've got Coffee Masters. You've got, Espresso State of Mind. They're doing their thing at all the coffee fests.
Yep.
You could even do like the AeroPress one.
Yeah, AeroPress. There's so many more outside of the WCE.
And then so many more things other than just competitions.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many more ways to just connect this industry now. Like, competition was the first way because it's the easiest way to get people excited for something. It's why you told them to do throwdowns early to bring people through the door. Like, that's just one of many avenues.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I appreciate the level and the investment that GH has done to support the competitions over the years. It's amazing. Yeah. It can't happen without sponsorship.
Appreciate y'all too for all the passion that you put into it and all that you've brought to the industry, individually and part of the companies that you've been with. So,
Amen.
Yeah.
Just trying to make the world a better place, and everybody's doing that. We thank y'all for everything that y'all have done to help facilitate that, not only for Black and White, not only for 95 Plus or for competitors, but like just in the grand scheme of things, like constantly doing great work. And we appreciate being at least side characters and NPCs in you guys' greater story of helping.
Much more than that. Much more than that. Yeah. We look up to you guys.
Hey, man. We've been rocking for a while on this one. We usually do, 2 episodes when we do our interviews. So I want us to get to the fun and vibing out. So do you have any closing comments for this episode for yourself on behalf of GH, whatever? Is there anything you want to leave the people with?
Oh man, come if you're headed to Expo this next year, please come see us. We'll have a booth there as usual.
Yeah. Chicago.
If you're out there and you're a roaster that's listening, that's going to be there. Drop us a line because you may very well could, pull some shots in our booth or something like that. But we're looking forward to seeing all of y'all out there at the regional, at the qualifiers, and also at Expo. So
word. Trust, reliability, and innovation is what you guys are about. Mm-hmm. So we got to shout you out one more time. Our sponsors, GH Grinding and Brewing Solutions. Check them out, ghgbs.com. They can link you up with some equipment based on whatever you're looking for, in your cafe or in your house, man. That Chiato is dope. I'm crushing it at the crib.
Yeah, Chiato's coming.
It's pretty dope. Yeah, it's pretty dope. Yeah.
I'd have stole it from Lim by now, but I don't know his address.
No, I took it to I had it here. I had to take it back.
Yeah.
We'll say
I'm gonna figure it out. All right, man. And with that being said, that is another episode of the 95 Plus podcast. Thank y'all for tuning in and listening. Thank you to our guest, Josh Kimbrough of GH Grinding and Brewing Solutions. Len, man, close them out, baby.
Yo.
I got him. He's nervous.
Dude, I missed Dreadhead in the lobby. We got to come up with a new one, man.
Oh, don't worry. When I get it, it's going to be a good one. But thank y'all for coming out, man. Yeah. 95 Plus podcast.
Peace. Two times.
Yes.
What's up, everyone? 95 Plus Podcast, Lim Butler here. I want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, GH Grinding and Brewing Solutions. Everything you need to know about grinding and brewing coffee, please reach out to them. They're all about trust, reliability, and innovation. ghgbs.com. Thanks, guys.